I gotta make click noises. And we are live. Hello. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Discussions with Daz. I am Daz, of course. Joined with me is the the dude with the nose. Okay, well, nose dude, thank you for showing up. This guy, he is one of the three members of the starting roster for Team Splice. They have just qualified for the Rocket League Rival Series through the play-ins, and man, what a show that was. But nose dude, we are gonna be, it's just gonna be me and you chatting for this short span of time. I mean, for those who don't know you, can you just give me like a little bit of background as to like your competitive experience?
Yeah, so I think I got the game like a week after it came out, and Splice is maybe the second starting roster I've been on.
Mm-hmm.
The only one previous was Wildcard with Laz and Skies for LCS2, and then Prime Thunder after we replaced Skies. So then in between Season 2 and now, I've just subbed for Ohana and then subbed for NRG, and I'm hoping to start now.
Yeah.
Or I am starting now.
Yeah. No, you started from for this Splice roster, who again consists of Karma and Jay Wismont, and you guys made one heck of a run through the lower brackets of the play-ins. You guys got knocked down to lowers by Incognito, and then made pretty insane run through. I mean, like on stream, there's like a minute difference between like actual stream and like the actual gameplay, but
Yeah.
I'm sure there was a part like either mid game or after where you knew that you were in. And describe to me like what that feeling is.
I think I was probably one of the most nervous on the team. Karma grounded us, kept us calm, and kept us in it. But for me, I was getting pretty nervous. And in the last game against Lights Out, when we just kind of got goal after goal, or no, it was when they missed that empty net. It was like all three of them, and then Nomad hit it to the side, and then I think we ended up like scoring off of it. It was like, holy shit, we made this. There's no way they're winning after that, and that was pretty crazy. It was I probably shouldn't tell anyone, but like 30 seconds left on the clock, Karma started crying, and then she ended up making a save with like tears in her eyes and stuff. It was funny in the moment. It was funny. We were all having a laugh. It's a crazy feeling, though.
That's so good. And again, congratulations for making it. That's gonna be one. It's gonna be one heck of a rival series. But let's backtrack a little bit, because it wasn't always you, Karma, and Jay Wismont. After DreamHack Leipzig, Safu ended up moving over to G2 as a sub, so you guys were looking for another third, and then you guys brought Jay Wismont on your team. What prompted that specific pickup?
So prior to DreamHack, we were, I think we had like a few options in mind, and we asked Jay Wismont if he wanted to go, but he didn't have a passport and he couldn't get it ready in time, so we ended up asking Safu, and he was able to go, and we did pretty well with them there. So I think one of the big things to take into mind why we didn't pick him was his internet has kind of been spotty in the past, and although we did well at LAN with him, I mean, League plays entirely online, and it kind of sucks, but that's one of the decisions, or one of the things you have to take into consideration when you make that decision. So Jaywiz is just, like, he's mechanically insane. You ask anyone else, like, even at Chicago, he has huge praise for Jaywiz. And there's times in games where he can just take out, like, an entire team and put it in himself, and I think with him on our team, that's someone we don't have to worry about, and it's someone that every other team has to worry about. So it's a pretty big pickup for us.
Yeah, I agree as well. It's just like when I look at that team, it's definitely a team where I see everybody who has their own specific strengths in a sense, and I've always looked at Jay was just a great all-around player, and it definitely like complements your guys' specific roster. So moving into moving up into like things leading up to play-in, like how were things like when you guys first started off picking up the rosters in terms of like scrims and stuff, like how was that like when you first started meshing together?
When we first started, it was a little rough because Jay was and I are, in the past, we were primarily just kind of like solo players, slam it off the backboard and then hope your teammate gets to it or try and put it in yourself, whereas Karma plays a really team-based game, a lot of passing, a lot of looking out for where your teammates are, and very strict rotations. So it takes some time to get used to that, to get everyone on the same page. So when we got that all settled, we were doing really well in scrims. We were at, like, just fucking dominating, it felt like. And then, kind of unfortunate timing, but Jay had to, like, take a week off because he had midterms coming up. So then when we came back from that, it was a little rough, so then we kind of had to get back into it again. And then, like, the day or day two, or the day before plans, we were doing really well. We felt really confident going in. But the plans, like, it's so much stress, it's unbelievable. Like, I had no idea how bad it would be, but it's insane what the plans can do to you just on one qualifier day. Makes you play so differently sometimes.
Yeah. Actually, I don't have that down, but like, I want to discuss that just a little bit in terms of like the actual day, like the play-in day. Like, a lot of people talk about how different it is and how, you know, things leading up to like this one specific day. A lot of people spend the last either 3 months, 6 months, or whatever just training up to like this one day, and it can be so, like, we've seen on like Twitter and stuff like that, but it can be so like stressful and pressuring that if you underperform, people even like go to extremes as well as like just quitting competitive completely, and others just they really take a step back and look at things. I mean, some guys make really irrational decisions at times. We see players quit, and then like maybe like 3 days later they'll be like, "Oh no, I'm back.
I'm back.
You know, they have a twit longer, and then the twit longer will have a twit longer, and they're just like, okay.
Follow a twit longer, not actually quitting.
Right. But describe to me just like the toll play-in day takes on the player.
So, it affects everyone differently. Like, but for me, it made me play really hesitant. Like, there'd be times I'd just sit in net, and I'd be waiting and waiting, and then I end up, like, holding the rotation back, so it just kind of almost got us scored on a couple of times. I'm sure there were times it got us scored on. So it can make you play really hesitant. It can, or at least for me, I guess other people, it can make them play too aggressive. I don't know. It affects everyone differently, but the stress of however many months of practice leading up to this one day, if you don't win, you're out for like the next 6 months. Out of the spotlight, at least. You may have the occasional DreamHack, the occasional monthly tourney, but it doesn't add up to anything close to being in the RLRS.
Yeah,
so it's a lot of pressure to perform all on that one day.
Yeah, I bet, and it seems like it. Like, just from like players will literally shut down and not do anything. I remember Karma in specific, she said she wasn't going to stream like at all leading up to play-ins. It's like she literally wanted to focus that hard on making sure that the team and herself were playing at 100% leading up to that day. Was there any special practices that your team did like leading up to it?
Special practices?
Yeah. Like anything different, like,
I don't know, mainly just scrims. Karma would make some training packs for us, like just specific passes that we should be hitting. Because sometimes Jaywiz and I have the mentality to, like, we see a nice juicy ball, just go for the shot, place it wherever. And that extra pass can go a long way. So this training pack's going to help you get into the mindset of how you should hit the ball to get a pass. So that helped quite a bit.
Okay. What other areas, like, was there a, like, one specific thing that you guys, like, constantly struggled at leading up to play-ins?
Constantly struggled at, I suppose, kind of keeping our comms good, because I can get really quiet in comms, and that really hinders us quite a bit. I think when our comms are good, we're playing good. And I think that's something we have to be really mindful of, me especially. So I suppose comms are kind of my weak point. I think Karma's pretty good at that. I think Jaywiz is pretty good at that. I think Jaywiz, I think he relies on the good comms as well. So I think if I get that down, we'll be pretty good. So I think that's one of our weaker points right now.
Okay. So let's fast forward into play-in day. You guys were looking really good moving in. Number 1 seed. Everything just seemed like you guys were going to qualify through winners bracket. And then during the day, you guys dropped to losers into incognito. And like, just describe to me like the whole dropping into the losers bracket and having to qualify through there.
So yeah, after that incognito game, we have like a 2-hour break to kind of do whatever, wait for other teams to catch up in the bracket. So what we ended up doing was we watched the replays of the series and what we saw was we weren't playing as well as we could have, but we didn't play that bad. And I think Custer was playing out of his mind with some of the saves he was getting. Like all of them were playing crazy. Mm-hmm. So I think watching the replays helped me especially realize that the loss wasn't due to us playing bad, and if we just continued what we were doing, it'd be an easy way through the lower bracket. But unfortunately, I couldn't really bring myself out of the kind of timid play style because we were in the lower bracket. I was kind of afraid to lose, so we didn't quite play to our full potential through the lower bracket, but we still made it through.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like you said, you guys still made it through. You are in the rival series, which is good. Now, we've been kind of like talking around this next point that I want to get at, but and it's been something that's been really like hot. It's like the hot topic of the week in a sense, where a lot of teams, not a lot of teams, but just a lot of talk in general about format changes for the Rocket League Rival Series and Championship Series. Are there formats out there that you've seen on Twitter or on Reddit that you agree with? Or is there like, ooh, okay, which one?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. No,
you're good.
Dexy, he tweeted last night about instead of just one qualifier day, it's like a qualifier circuit. So it'd be a bunch of days over a period of time. The details could probably be worked out later, but essentially it takes the stress off of it, all be on one day, and it promotes consistent playing over time. And whoever the top teams are of that qualifier or of that circuit, they could either play like the bottom 4 teams of the RLRS, or they could just go in immediately. And I think that is a lot better than the system we have right now, where you have like however many teams signing up for the play-ins, and it's pretty much just whoever shows up on that day gets in. So I don't know. Every season we see the same sort of discussion, and I think it helps. It's not like we're repeating the same things over and over. We're seeing improvements, and the discussion is being productive because we're seeing it get better and better and better as the seasons go on. So I think it's good to have the discussion. And I think Dexy did have a good idea, and I think it's something that Psionics and the community can look into a little more.
Yeah, and I mean, I haven't personally looked too much into it to where I have like my own developed opinion on it. I do think things could possibly be different. There's always like there's so many other different what's the word I want to say, like elements that people really want to like highlight when it comes to stuff like this. Of course, everyone wants to highlight like the hype that goes into the play-in day, but they also want to make sure that it's fair for top teams and that no one's exploiting the system. And there's a lot of things that everyone needs to look at when coming up with a new type of format. So I think the conversation is good for sure, and I think that as time goes on, changes could be made. And that, you know, this type of conversation and like talk around with even players, Twitch staff who used to run the RLCS, like they have their own opinions of it, and casters have their own opinions of it as well. So it's all good conversation for sure, because all everyone wants is just for things to be better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Everybody's working towards the same goal. They just have different ways of going about it.
Exactly. Yeah. So. Moving back to you in specific, you talked about it when you did your intro where you said this is like your second season starting. Last season, you were a sub for NRG, and that's how you got that juicy title that you flashed around in, right?
Oh, yeah. Got a title. flex on the kids, you know.
Easy. Like, so why this season did you want to start? Why not sub for another season?
So I don't know. I feel like I improved quite a bit as a sub for NRG. I think that's kind of a unique case where subbing actually was a good experience for me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like for a lot of players and a lot of other teams, subbing can kind of just make you be envious of those who are able to play, whereas I think I was able to grow as a player as a sub. I got experience playing against other top teams as a sub, and I think I'm able to use that experience to start now. And I think, I don't know, rarely do you see players subbing for more than 2 seasons in a row. I mean, the only reason any of us are at the top of this game is because we like to play it, and I think nobody wants to sub for that many seasons in a row and watch everybody around them be able to play.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think another example would be like Nap. Nap was the sub for Cloud9, and he wanted to start, and he played on, I think they were called Small Balls, but they had to change their name to Small. Lol.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a good name. I like that name.
Yeah.
Nap, Fresno,
and Prim.
Yikes.
Nap, Fresno, and Yikes.
Sorry, I dropped my controller there. Nap, Fresno, and Prem, yeah.
Yeah, and they did pretty good. They weren't able to qualify, unfortunately, and it was one of those like tough losses because I was rooting for them, especially like I know all the players and I like them. So Nap's like a really cool kid too. So it was really unfortunate to see him like drop out. Man, it makes you wonder too. Like at the same time, it's just like you wish that there were more slots almost for stuff like this. There's only 8 slots in the Rival Series and then 8 slots in RLCS.
Only 4 slots to get in.
Yeah,
because 4 teams are staying. You know, it's tough.
Yeah, and then that goes back to like some of the other format changes where we saw, where I believe like James Bot posted on Twitter, he's like 10 Rival Series, 10 RLCS, and then I think they had like a auto promo relegation type thing as well.
There's been a lot of mixed opinions on that, the auto qualification and auto demotion.
Yeah. There's a lot of just talk in general around, from what I've seen, just RLCS interactions with RLRS teams. Like, some teams are for it. Other teams are like, well, I won't say they're against it, but they're just, like, hesitant in a sense, where they think that, you know, most teams just only want to scrim or only want to play against RLCS teams. And I was talking to a couple of players about what more to bring to like these teams throughout the season. Like what do pro players want to see? Because they're, you know, a lot of guys are complaining. They say, oh, I don't like playing ranked. Ranked is like cancer. Or like, you know, this isn't working. Like, I wanted to do more stuff with my team. Can we have this mode added to the game, etc., etc.? And I asked some of the guys. Some guys hit me with the I'll have to get back to you. But one that was really good was someone had said they want to see more invitationals with RLRS and RLCS teams invited. Is that something that you would be interested in, or is there something in specific that you think would be able to benefit both worlds, like get the best of both worlds, Hannah Montana style?
No, I think having some invitationals for both the RLRS and RLCS teams would be pretty good. I think it would have an impact on the relegation tourney. I think if those teams have experience playing against each other in a tournament setting, I think it'll make the relegation tournament a lot, I want to say a lot more accurate, just because those teams get to play against each other in the past and kind of study each other. But
yeah,
I don't really know. I don't know. I think it would make it a lot more exciting. I think it would make the future seasons a lot better if those teams are able to practice against each other and then show up when it counts on the relegation tourney day. I
think I've just thought about this just now, but what I think would be like would make everyone happy, and that's something that's hard to do. But this one I think will make everyone happy.
That's a big task.
Right.
Everyone happy.
So a large prize pool tournament that has a open qualifier. Actually, this is gonna be rough. So
you're describing the RLCS,
right? There's like there's an open qualifier for 2 spots in this invitational. So like, let's say there are 8 slots total. I invite 3 RLRS teams, and then I invite 3 RLCS teams, and then I have 2 open qualifier spots, so that like a bubble team or some other like all these other teams can actually like qualify through like a bracket. And then they all play in a double elimination bracket for like a lot of money. I think that'll work.
That's along the lines of what happened with Northern Arena. There was an open qualifier tourney.
Right.
Although the rules on that, you have to be like 2/3 of the team Canadian, but the format's kind of the same. And then DreamHack Leipzig as well. You had the dudes make it through an open qualifier tourney, and they got to play against some top teams in Germany.
Yeah.
So it has the potential to work. I think it makes
sense.
A lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah, you got invited teams, and then you have
teams that prove themselves.
Yeah, and then I think the only issue with those is that they're so far apart from each other. That's that's something that a lot of teams are just like, oh yeah, well, DreamHacks are like 3 months apart. Northern Arena was like this far away from this, and et cetera, et cetera. So
we'll see that issue solved with time, though, as more and more tourneys pop up in the scene. I think we saw Rival Esports; they're moving to a monthly format, right?
Right. Yeah.
I think that'll help a little bit.
Yeah, I believe they're now someone in Rival is clearly going to correct me because I do not know because I haven't looked into it. But I believe they have 4 qualifiers throughout the month, and then you qualify to play in like the monthly, like the big monthly at the end. Kind of like I want to say it was
that reminds me of the ESL ones where you have the weekly ESLs, and then you make it, if you get enough points in those weeklies, you make it to the monthly finals.
Yeah, so I think it's something like that. I could be wrong though, but like that works for them, and it works on just not even a cater to the players, but a cater to them as an org type deal. They're able to have tournaments that they can stream. Their casters can get on screen like on a weekly basis, and still cast matches. They don't like their casters don't have to fight each other over who gets to cast once a month, and it just it keeps everyone still busy because they still have something to do like every week, and it makes the players happy. It drives more traffic to them, so it works out at the end of the day. And I'm glad to see them shifting over to that format because again, it's something that the players have been asking for. Like, I don't want to say that I don't want to be the person to like coin this term and say this term, but a lot of talk has been going around that like weeklies are dead type thing. Where
I was about to say something kind of like when you have like a tourney every day and teams aren't showing up, you almost have to play a little with like the supply and demand kind of thing. So if there's too many tourneys and people aren't showing up, then maybe reduce the amount of tourneys. Make people fight for like that one specific tourney, like the monthly, and you might see more turnout for it. I don't know. Yeah,
for sure. And then at the same time, you won't be burning all of your money, giving it to like that one player who's a higher rank than everyone else who constantly wins every single.
First killer.
I didn't want to say it. Why did you? He said it. He said it. I didn't say it. Oh my god. Oh man, what are you doing?
No. I don't know who said that. That wasn't me. That was messed up, man.
God. But yeah, it's the truth. Like, it just seems it works because these guys end up still spending that amount of money a month anyways, putting on these weekly tournaments. So, and at the same time, it'll like you'll still get the same amount of viewership. I remember I was talking to Cloudfield about it. He's talking about like the numbers still like work for monthlies. Yeah. You can like hit him up too because it's a large tournament. He could probably put you guys on front page of Twitch, which brings even more viewership because it's a big tournament. And
when you have more time in between the games, you get to hype it up a little more too.
Yeah, exactly.
More time to do that.
Okay, so monthlies seem like the new move, and I'm down. Yeah. Moving on, we are going to talk about player behavior and toxicity in esports. So, originally, I was going to bring up something for the Overwatch League regarding a player that had got banned for a lot of different things that were, in a sense, a bit questionable. There were a lot of questionable things that were going on with the XQC Overwatch League, and it went from him having this disagreement with the casters, so he gets in trouble for saying something about casters, even though the caster said something about him. to him being caught in Twitch chat using the try hard emote when Malik, who's an African American like myself, comes on screen, or like, and I mean that's something that's like super common. Like Malik he's been doing stuff like this for like 3 years, and he hadn't said anything until like now, because like that's kind of like a given. Like I know that personally, like as a given. Like it's a major broadcast, and there's like, I'll just straight up say it. You see a black guy on screen, and it's just like someone's gonna either hit the try hard or the what face. Like that. Yeah. That's like bound to happen.
Yeah, like, the come on, bro.
Yeah, the come on, bro. Oh yeah, the come on, bro. That's the one I was. It was what I was thinking, but I thought about Golden Boy a lot. I like Golden Boy, so.
Yeah, like it's kind of shitty that it's expected, but it's just kind of how Twitch chat is.
Mm-hmm.
But you expect that from Twitch chat. But if you're kind of known in the community and you're representing an org, that's not really stuff you can get away with. It's not stuff you should even be risking. Like it's a shitty joke.
Yeah.
There's no point in doing it. I mean.
And now it kind of it brings up a larger conversation in a sense to where how toxicity is handled in esports, and then it also brings up player behavior, like what is acceptable and what's not acceptable for players to do. Like at the end of the day, like I mean, again, for a player like XQC playing on the Dallas Fuel, a team that's in the Overwatch League, I can understand why the Overwatch League are being really strict behind that, because of how much money has been invested into the Overwatch League. Like that's like that's a lot of money, and they don't
want one player ruining their reputation of all that.
Exactly. They don't want to like they. I feel like what they say, or what the message they're trying to bring about is like, as a player, you are representing the Overwatch League. Like you are, in a sense, one of the faces of the Overwatch League. So when you go and you incite these Twitch trolls, then and if we let you get away with that, and we let you do whatever you want to do, then it just makes them look bad. So they have to act on it in some type of way. But what are your thoughts on how toxicity is handled in esports?
So it varies from like game to game, obviously. I know I'm a little more familiar with CS:GO, and we saw kind of recently KNG, who used to play for 100 Thieves. He said a little homophobic remark towards Thorin, I believe it was, and he was pretty much like instantly dropped from 100 Thieves. I think after that, 100 Thieves ended up just giving up on CS:GO. Maybe they'll come back later, but as of now, they don't have a roster anymore. And I think KNG is pretty much like out of a job now because of this stupid shit he shouldn't have said. And I think it might take a while for players to realize that they're not like in their basement just talking shit. They're in front of however many people. They're representing not only themselves, they're representing their game, their org, their teammates, their region, and they have to be a lot more careful with what they say. And that sounds really stupid coming from me, but
well, guys, this brings me to my next point. So, if you don't know Nose Dude, and you have not seen him on your Twitter feeds, then you are not following the right people, for one. And then for two, so to talk specifically about Nose Dude, one of the reasons why I brought him on the show is because last season you were almost notorious for calling out bad calls from the casters, as well as anything bad that you noticed that was going on through through league play in general, that you just were just like, yo, what is this? Why is this happening? But things are different. You're a player here.
Different.
Just a little bit. You're on the Rocket League Rival Series now. You have a new team. And then something I want to highlight, you have a new coach. Your coach is Jimmer. Now, I say Jimmer. Some people know Jimmer, some people don't. Regardless, I can easily just nail this down with like one sentence. He is the sweetest dude, the nicest guy on the planet. Legitimately the nicest guy on the planet. Yeah,
he's a really nice guy.
So, with him as your coach, and knowing you, are we gonna see like a different Nose Dude this season than last season?
I think maybe a more carefully worded nose, dude. I don't think the.
Okay.
I think you'll still see a little banter, a little shit talking, a little some call outs, but I think be a little more careful with how I word things.
Mm-hmm.
Got I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot more eyes on me. You have to be careful.
Yeah, just a little bit, you know. Yeah, just a little bit more eyes, but
yeah.
I don't know. I know I haven't made it as a commentator until I get called out by Nose Dude on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
So
don't worry, man. You'll get there.
I'll get there.
Speaking of me being an absolute asshole on Twitter, did you see Gibbs's top 24 players in the RLCS? The list he made.
I've seen the. I haven't even no. Just,
oh no.
I haven't seen it yet, but I've seen him stream. I just haven't had time to tune in or actually look at
Gibbs and Shogun put Miho around 24 to 20th, near the bottom 4 players. Made sure to call them out on that. So I'm not gone. I'm just a little more quiet, but I'm not gone. Still calling them out. Still calling it how I see it.
And that's why we love you.
Shots fired.
Shot. That's why we love you.
Hang up on me.
That's why we love you, Nose. Okay? Where would we be without you? Okay? They probably were just so happy that you were able to call them out. I think they were just like, yes. We knew this was successful. We got the Nose call out.
Oh, yeah. The Nose stamp of disapproval.
Exactly. Oh, God. I gotta find that thread. I'll look at it later.
Yeah, a little later. It's fine. This is just a little side point I thought I'd bring up.
Okay. I feel like we're going to be in for a treat this season, for sure. Speaking of this season, what are you most looking forward to this season? Are there any teams you're on the lookout for, or
So, I think I'm looking forward to play against Dig. That's going to be a really good series. That is the last game of the RLRS for NA, at least, until the relegation and promotion tourney. I think that's going to be a really good game. I think we are the top 2 teams in the RLRS right now.
Oh.
A bold statement.
Right.
But no, I think that'll be a really good game. I think us versus Allegiance will be really good. They're a very fast team. They're very good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think FlyQuest is also going to be a really strong team as well. Prime Thunder, Wonder, and AJ. I think Wonder does a lot for that team that kind of goes unnoticed sometimes. And I don't know. I think this rival series is really, really stacked. I think it's going to be good.
I think so too. There are a lot of good teams that all have the chance of making it into the RLCS, and even then, RLCS is looking pretty stacked as well. Actually, I don't have that down here, but I want to ask you about that as well. In terms of the RLCS, what do you got your eyes on?
Mm-hmm. So, I'm expecting NRG to absolutely stomp with Justin. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm falling for the hype, but I mean, I've played against him, I've played with him. He's absolutely insane. And then you have Garrett on the team, absolutely insane. Fireburner, easily top 10 player in North America in threes. He's so solid.
Yeah.
And I don't see many teams that can beat them right now. I think Cloud9 might have given them trouble in the past, but I don't think that's going to be an issue anymore. Mm-hmm. I think NRG and Cloud9 are easily top 2. I think G2 easily the 3rd, and I think they can trade games with them any day of the week. So I think those top 3 are pretty solid, actually. But as for the rest, I think it's a huge toss-up between Ghost, Momentum, and who am I thinking of? Rogue.
Yeah. Actually, I think Momentum are supposed to be releasing or announcing their.
I think they're supposed to be announcing today or tomorrow.
I think Dad said Wednesday, so I think it's today. That'd be great.
But yeah, so I think Equinox falls, or Evil Geniuses now. Yeah. Evil Geniuses. I think they fall a little below the others, but I'm sure they can win some games. I think they've got what it takes. But the only team I haven't played against now is Momentum. So I guess they're a bit of a question mark, but I'm expecting them to do pretty well based on the fact that they've been a roster before, based on the fact that Miho's an absolute monster at the game. Mm-hmm. I think I love Johnny, but I think he and his team are kind of screwed this season. I think they are going to be last, and I don't think anything's really going to stop that or change that. So I told Johnny, even if you don't win a game, even if you're convinced you can't win a game, this is your season to show other people what you're worth. This season is your resume,
Yeah.
Prove yourself as a top tier player.
That's all that matters.
Try and get on a better roster next season. Yeah.
No, that's exactly all that matters. It doesn't matter how the team performs at the end of the day. It's how you perform as an individual, like as a player. I mean, look at Justin for an example. I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of the reason why Out of Style are in the like position that they're in, so to speak. But at the same time, he was in the rival series and he proved himself to be an absolute monster to the point where NRG were like, "Yo, we need this guy on the team," and then we created this whole roster mania swap. But at the end of the day, Justin's in a nice place. I think he's pretty happy with where he's at. He has solid teammates, and
there's always rosters that form that you kind of know are just rosters forming so they can find different teams for next season. I think the first iteration of Out of Style, I think that was obvious with Justin going to get picked up by a bigger team.
Yep.
I think this season, now it's kind of obvious with kind of the interactions that Johnny has on Twitter. I don't think he's planning on staying on this team for long. I think this is his... I think he's just on the team to play in the RLCS this season, and I think he's probably going to go somewhere else next season. So I think for teams that are kind of not really doomed, but expected to split up, I think it's fine to just kind of realize this season's for you. Don't worry about how the team is doing, and just play as well as you can so that you're an attractive option to other teams.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, we got in the new Evil Geniuses, we had quite a pair with Chroma Classics, both being on the same team.
Oh yeah, that'll be good.
That'll be good as well. But
very interesting. Looking forward to another Chrome doesn't know I'm stream from Classics. With Classic.
Oh man, I think they were one time they were playing on the same team. Yeah. Of course they were playing on the same team, and and Classics was streaming, and then like we were just listening to their comms. And he's like, "I'm at a boost, just dribble him."
That was honestly probably one of the funniest streams of Rocket League history. It was Classics with Insel and Chrome on.
Yep.
On Genesis,
my god. It was so good. It was so good.
That was so much fun. That was incredible.
Oh man, a lot of good things that are gonna be seen this season. Personally, I'm glad that there are a lot more orgs getting involved. Of course, the Evil Genius pickup is really good. I'm more of a like players first type of deal. I really like the fact that the players that are all getting like signed to orgs. You're under a contract with Splice right now. That's nuts.
I love Splice.
And it just seems like more org pickups. Everyone's like happy because they're tweeting about signing. Watch out, we got a new org. We're gonna announce it. Method's like, yo, we were Method, now we're Complexity, and Complexity's all on like their YouTube. Like, yeah, we got some things cooking up for Rocket League. We're about to sign this big. But things are getting to be a little bloodbath over this team right now. But it's so cool, and I can't wait to see what Psyonix does on top of it, because I feel like this is like a really good opportunity for us to see them bring it like add orgs, like combine basically the esports and like the casual scene, have like these market items for teams coming into the game. I'd love to be able to buy like a Splice like pack and stuff like that. And be able to like again have it like support the team, and then also like just be able to rep a team on their game day as well, or just something, whether it's through Twitch, whether it's through Rocket League, just something where we can like support these players and these teams, because like you guys are really really cool people and you guys play your minds out on Rocket League, so it's always good to be able to give back as well. So
I think Psyonix is focused on bridging the gap between casual and competitive. Like we saw with the tournament beta, that was a little casual focused, but I think that's good because you're not trying to bridge the people over to casual, you're trying to bring those people up to competitive. And I think to do that, you need a casual tourney mode, and then you add something a little more competitive, maybe like the in-game team items or something like that. I think they're slowly trying to bring them over and expand the viewer base towards those casual players.
Yeah,
so I think the tournament beta is a good start with that, getting them involved in like the more competitive aspect of the game. I think I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing what Psyonix does next with building the game competitively. I think that'll be good.
And just like again with tournament mode, like in specific, like there's been some discussions about tournament mode. A lot of people don't see the genuine benefit that it might have to the casual audience, but you gotta at the same time, it's like also up to us in terms of like I want to say like the competitive community in general, all these like players that the casual audience looks up to, they can help include the casual audience into like tournaments and kind of bring them into competitive. We see like Athena all the time. Every time something cool is going on with the scene or something new's added. For example, she has a fantasy league going on her stream where all her subs get to enter in the fantasy league, and then they get like cash prizes for the top 3 at the end of the season. And then I believe like once tournaments comes out, her and then some other streamers are gonna of course have their own like viewer tournament. This is really cool. Da 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 da. And then Psyonix is also like on Twitter saying we want to have like the tournament admin be able to spectate matches so you guys can like cash your tournament games and stuff like that. Yeah. So there's a lot of work being done on all sides because everyone wants to just see Rocket League grow, and we all want to like be unified at the same time. People butt heads from time to time, but that's all because we have different perspectives. And but we're all it's all based on a passion. We're all just really passionate about the game, and that's what's important. So
yeah, for sure.
We that's actually it. We're gonna close. I see you, Prime Thunder. Right. That might be we'll make that next stream. Actually, Jorby did a stream where we did predictions on it for his talkback. Look at the VOD for that, and then be sure to criticize me for my choices because they're all bad.
If we're not doing predictions, any matchups you're looking forward to this season?
Give me a second. Because the schedule got released, but I did not look at it at all. And I'll bring it up right now. Let's see. RLesports.com. Snickers on board. Prime Thunder.
Snickers
we have you
board.
in chat.
Oh yeah, Prime Thunder.
I can't wait for your next I can't wait for your next selfie with Snickers. That's gonna be nuts. Wonder dropped one a couple days ago. And I think they had Shogun do an advertisement or something like that, a promo for Snickers. They're like going all in on this. Oh, it's so funny too. This weekend for RLCS, the very first game that will be on stream is NRG versus Out of Style, and that's basically Justin versus the team he left. Wow, that's a good way to start off the season.
That's a rough start for Out of Style.
Yeah. Then they play Evil Geniuses though later on in the day. That'll be good to like really see the pace of those two teams. EG plays Momentum earlier as well. So for those kind of if we're basing it off of your predictions, like those like bottom teams, we can get a good sense of where they are. Ghost plays NRG and Cloud9. A lot of people have been wondering how well the Ghost roster does. So this will be like a really good test for them just to see how well they do facing NRG and C9 right out of the gate.
That's a really rough day for Ghost.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They gotta.
But if they have a good day and they're playing out of their minds, that is really good for the rest of their league or their season.
EU is super stacked, of course. We look at Sunday. PSG playing Excel. That's gonna be a good one. I want to see how well Marky does on Excel playing. I guess like one of the, if not the best team in EU with PSG since they won the last DreamHack. I guess they get that title now. So that'll be just a good test for Excel because we didn't really get a chance to see too much of that at Leipzig, and I want to see how teams have adapted towards then. Flipside playing Complexity is pretty solid because Flipside have Yukio, and we haven't seen them play with their full roster yet. So it'll be interesting to see how they play against the new Complexity roster. Envy, who have iIgnite on their team, play PSG also. So we'll see if the iIgnite pickup works. That's going to be a tough matchup for Envy.
Hoping so.
I hope so too.
I'm hoping iIgnite absolutely pops off.
He needs to. I love it. I love him. F3 against Excel. Despite their matchups earlier, they get to do a head-to-head, and that's, I think, it'll kind of. I feel like they're like middle teams right now, and I think whoever comes out on top of that kind of like sets the pace on how each other team does this season. There are like going to be a lot of like, how well does this team do this season? A lot of people do well in these tournaments that are majors, but this is the tournament to do the best that you've ever played on, so no game should be taken lightly here.
Yeah.
And then Vitality, or Renault Sports Vitality. Ooh. I don't know how to pronounce. It's Renault Vitality on
big name
on the website, so we'll go with that. They face Complexity as well, so I think Gregan's coaching them, and we'll see if some of his expert knowledge, because he's super smart, we'll see how well he can help them out. I'm only going to go based off of like week 1, because in terms of like actual matchups, I don't know. Like, that's rough. Let me see. NRG versus C9 is what I want to see. I want to see G2 versus NRG as well. Like, I really just want to see NRG, G2, and Cloud9 all play each other. Yeah. Those are the ones I'm looking forward to the most.
I think those top 3 are going to produce some of the best games.
Yep. Fnatic. I want to see Fnatic play Gale Force. I want to see Envy play everyone.
Yeah.
I think Fnatic are going to be like, they're going to shake things up. I have just so much faith that they're going to shake things up, and it's going to be good to see them. So, but Fnatic and Gale Force for sure. I want to see how Gale Force has improved since Leipzig, or if they've improved since Leipzig. In terms of RLRS, you guys versus Dig. That's one I want to see. I want to see. I want to see the dudes Manhattan.
Yeah, that would be good.
Incognito versus you guys, and then
the rematch.
Yeah, I want to see that rematch.
The old salty run back.
Yeah, get the salty ones in, and then yeah, I think that's it. I'm gauging. I want to see how well the dudes do, like, cause it's tough. Manhattan's in there. Man, there's only 4 spots that players can keep, and there are a lot of teams. This is crazy.
Who wasn't that made it in? Us, dudes.
Allegiance.
No.
Oh, who made it
in? Cog.
Yeah, and Manhattan.
And Manhattan, right.
Yeah. So yeah, this rival series is stacked as well. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there are a lot of good games that are going to come out of this, and it's going to be probably the most exciting season of both RLRS and RLCS.
Each season's gotten better and better. It's insane.
Yeah, I love it, and we're just all like on this nice train of of Psyonix's wild ride, and I don't want to get off.
No brakes on this train.
No brakes, full gas. Where's Jorby? I need some gas. But thank you, DudeWithTheNose, for joining me today. This was a great conversation. I'm glad we got the time to sit down and talk. You have a very busy schedule, and I'm glad that we could share a moment and have a nice little discussion about how things have been in the future. It's been a good talk for sure.
Thanks for having me, man. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no problem, my guy. Hopefully the next discussion we have here will be an ROCS, but
oh yeah,
let me not jinx it.
You can count on that.
Yeah, I'm rooting for you guys all the way. So again, thank you, DudeWithTheNose. You guys can follow him on Twitter at DudeWithTheNose_RL. My name's Dazerin. You can follow me at iDazerin on Twitter. And yeah, guys, this will be uploaded to YouTube shortly after the stream. And again, just keep an eye out for the tweets for NoseDude when he plays, and if he streams, when he streams. And then for me as well, I got a lot more content coming to you guys as well here. So again, thanks guys for stopping by, and we will see you next time here on twitch.tv/Dazerin. Have a good rest of the day.